What's up, guys and gals? This is Roy from Roy's Customs. I decided to go ahead and tear my transmission apart to see what and all was going on inside there because it was pretty crunchy, and I wanted to see if I could actually save it. Well, technically, I don't really think I could actually save it. First of all, it actually has, well, it's got this gear here that is ground off in here. There's a gear that's ground off on the top and the bottom. I had some busted up synchros. There's the big pieces from the synchros. And they're actually made of brass, I believe, so, and they were pretty shredded. Even the teeth were gone, and they just shredded, because there's a bunch of little bitty pieces in there. Anyways, this is your, this is like your drive gear rack. And then, of course, you have your main shaft, which you can see it actually has the main spline where it goes out to the bell housing to run the drive. The synchros seem to be okay on it, but I don't know if I would want to try to use that again for anything else or not. The thing is these are pressed together, so it's kind of hard to get them apart. So if you had any synchros down in here that were messed up, you'd have to take this someplace and have them actually, you know, pull it apart. You might be able to get some of this gear set apart if you can go ahead and get the bearing off, but it'd still have to be pressed off. So, anyways, as far as that goes, you know, a bunch of little pieces and parts and stuff, and, you know, some more synchros, and this I believe is fifth. I think this is fifth gear, because you have first, second, third, fourth. Reverse is always going to be your straight gears. As you can see, you have straight gears, and then you have slant gears. Slant gears are always your drive gears. It's so they're quieter, and that's why there's usually noise in reverse, because it's a straight gear. Straight gears actually make noise when they're being ran. So, anyways, all kinds of little parts and pieces and gears and stuff that can possibly still be used in another transmission, maybe if you absolutely had to. But I'm not really thinking that I'm going to reuse anything in it. Because I'm definitely not going to be able to save the transmission itself, because the casing, it's got a bunch of stress cracks in it, and that was very alarming when I pulled it open. Well, whenever I was pulling it open, I actually noticed down on the bottom of the casing there was a huge crack in it. So I'm kind of surprised it didn't just blow apart. But anyways, you know, I think though, actually we'll be able to save the differential. I mean, that'll be a spare diff just in case I need it. It'll have to be cleaned up and stuff before I reuse it though, but I was checking it out, and this seems to be pretty good. The gears in there seem to be okay. The gear pin, the center gear pin seems to be alright. It will need new bearings, because those bearings are pretty much, well, they're pretty worn. After 386,000 miles, you'd be pretty worn out too, so, but I think as far as the gear itself goes and the actual differential, I think we're good. We'd be able to use that as a spare sometime. So, and you know, obviously most people know what a differential actually does and why it works. It's the way it's designed. It's actually so whenever you're turning corners, it actually allows one wheel to follow the other a little better, you know, so it's pretty basic. You can probably look that up and learn more about it if you want to, but basically that's why it's designed the way it is. It's so that one side will actually have a little bit of play so that you're not wearing out your tires. Now, as far as the flywheel, whenever I pulled the flywheel off, I got to looking, and it actually has some pretty bad gouges and stuff in it, and it's worn quite a bit. Like I say, 386,000 miles, you're going to get kind of worn out, you know, if you're made out of metal and stuff. So, the thing is I went ahead and I got another flywheel so that I would absolutely have a good flywheel. But you see, it's not very big, but it is heavy because it's solid steel. So yeah, I went ahead and I swapped it out. I got a new one. There's some really big gouges in it and stuff. If you can see them in the camera, there's some pretty bad gouges and stuff in it from where the clutch actually kind of shredded apart and tore it up. So I am going to say one thing now. My initial video, I had said that I wouldn't get another $86 clutch from Amazon. Well, I don't know. I possibly would, to have it around as a cheap spare to throw in, because I'm not positive what caused what to happen. I do know that I've been having a little trouble with the transmission for quite some time, it not wanting to shift and stuff, and so I was thinking that the synchros were bad anyways, and basically what it boiled down to is it finally gave up, and I'd say that was kind of part of the reason why it actually all went bad, you know. Transmission, and actually this bearing is no good, because whenever it was in, yeah, you can see how it was wobbling so bad. It was scratching the shaft there on the inside. It was scratching the shaft because this bearing was so bad and so wobbly. Even down inside there, it was wobbling the whole shaft. So I'd say it was probably a cause and effect sort of thing. So, because I actually did put quite a few miles on that clutch, so I'll have to go back and I'll have to probably re-edit that video, or say I'm sorry to the Amazon, because I would probably get one. I don't know. It was just I was upset. I'd say basically is what it amounted to for me. I was just upset that, you know, I put so much time and effort into this vehicle, and and then I buy a part from a place and then it just disintegrates. I was a little agitated about that, because, I was actually on my way to court, something very important. And, come to find out, I didn't even have to be there anyways. All I had to do was call them the day before. But anyways, what it boils down to is, the casing is trashed, or I would try to rebuild this. There's an awful lot of little parts and stuff, but it's a G5M transmission, so it's a tiny transmission, and Ford actually used it for several vehicles, so you can actually find one in a scrapyard or a parts yard, or on eBay or someplace. You can find one for pretty cheap. Heck, I found one for $100 just on Facebook, you know, so there's no reason that they should be that expensive because they are abundant. They used them in Mazdas, they used them in Fords, they used them in Mercurys, you know, everything from the Escort to the Tracer to, I can't remember which Mazda maybe MX-3 maybe, or something like that, MX-5 maybe had them, I can't remember, I think it's the MX-3 might have had it. But there was Mazdas that had, maybe the Protege had the G5 in, if it was a 5-speed, it had the G5 transmission. So anyways, there's the lowdown on what's going on with the transmission. There's a little bit about the flywheel, and then, you know, somewhat about the differential. Anyways, I'm going to call that it for this particular video. There's not really a whole lot to say about a trash transmission. And there's no real speculation other than there was a lot of shaft play in that main shaft. And that could have been wobbling around in there for months and months, or for the entire year for all I know. And that could have been what caused the clutch destruction. But I do know once this thing actually locked up on me, that was it. Because I was doing the speed limit and I-70 is actually 70. So I was doing 70 down the road whenever this all went to pot. So anyways, guys, I appreciate you guys watching. Feel free to subscribe, hit your notifications, and have a spectacular day or night, whichever one it is for you. Peace out.